I didn't realize that I was probably chronically dehydrated until I started tracking my water. So let's talk about it. Hey there, I'm Kathleen. Welcome back to my channel. This video is part of my series where I'm sharing my nutrition journey, and you can check out part one to find out why I don't call it weight loss. I'm a writer, founder, and storyteller. And if you want to check out some of my writing, the link to my Substack is in the description. Over there, I talk about rebuilding in your 30s after loss, after transitions, and how to build a life and work that's aligned with your values with more ease and less chaos. So, again, check out the link in the description if you want to join my Substack newsletter or become a member. Okay, so let's talk about water. Okay, wait, before we talk about water, just want to give you a quick update on my sleep. Because if you've watched my last two videos, then you'll know that getting good quality sleep consistently has been a challenge for me for a while, but especially during the past few weeks. So, over the past few days, I've noticed that on the weekends, I fall asleep. I don't fight sleep at all. I fall asleep easily. I wake up feeling really refreshed. It's the weekdays where I really seem to fight sleep at night. And, whoever said that if you do the work that you love, you'll never work a day in your life, that's not true. Like I enjoy the work that I do as a solopreneur in my brand, in my business, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is still work and there are still things that are out of my control and things that are on my mind. And apparently it's at night, right before I'm trying to go to sleep, when I start thinking about things. And so I think that's a big part of why I seem to fight sleep on weeknights, but on weekends, it's no problem. So that's something that I'm going to continue to work on. And I already see that this sleep challenge or sleep journey is going to be, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to put that into existence that it's going to take a while, but it might just be a little more challenging than I thought it would be to just go to sleep regularly and get good quality sleep. But again, if you have any tips or if you've experienced, sleep challenges, let me know in the comments what has worked for you. Okay, so now let's talk about water and how I realized that I was probably chronically dehydrated. So it's interesting that I didn't realize that because about 2 years ago, I was getting regular IV drips. It was from, like one of those wellness centers. I was a member of one, and it came with the membership. You got two free IV drips, and you also had like unlimited cold therapy, red light therapy, compression, and there was one other service, wellness service that you can get. I can't remember. But anyway, so I was a member of a wellness center for 4 or 6 months. And so I was getting regular IV drips. And I canceled my membership because I started to wonder if I was doing more harm than good. But what's interesting is that when I was a member and was getting regular IV drips, I didn't think that I could possibly be dehydrated. And that's maybe why I felt different or better or just more energized after getting an IV drip. And after I stopped getting regular IVs, I think that's when I noticed that I probably wasn't drinking enough water. I think, like looking back, I think I was relying on IVs to keep me hydrated. And I kind of ignored or didn't recognize my own body's cues to tell me that I needed water because I don't really, even now, I don't ever really feel thirsty except for first thing in the morning. That's the only time when I feel thirsty. And I've also heard that by the time your body feels thirsty or by the time you recognize thirst, it's because you're already dehydrated. Now, again, I'm not a medical professional, so I'm just sharing my own experience. But ever since I stopped getting those IV drips, I've kind of wondered, or I probably haven't been getting enough water because I think I was relying too much on IVs. So, like I said, I canceled that membership because I was wondering if I was doing more harm than good. And I was just saying, like, in terms of being hydrated, I don't necessarily think I was doing harm, but I think in recognizing, being able to recognize when I needed to drink some water, I think that I again wasn't trusting myself to know, hey, you need some water. So fast forward to now, and the past few months, I would get headaches pretty often. I'm not talking about migraines. I still get migraines from time to time, but I was getting headaches pretty often. And I've read somewhere that usually headaches are because you're either hungry or under eating, you're thirsty or underhydrated, or you're tired. So anytime I would get a headache, I would like check in with myself and see, am I hungry? Am I thirsty? Am I tired? And because I work from home, I'm usually home most of the day. I have a pitcher on my kitchen counter, a pitcher of water. I think it's like 64 ounces or 30. I think it's 64 ounces. It's a big pitcher. And there have been times when like I'll have a headache and then I'll go into the kitchen and I'll see the pitcher and it's like I only drank one glass of water from it. And then it's like, oh, I didn't drink water today. Let me know if that ever happens to you where you look up and it's 2 in the afternoon and you've only had one glass of water. When I like restarted this nutrition journey, this journey where I've decided that I'm in the best shape of my life, so I need to act like it, I started going back old school, pen and paper, and started tracking how many glasses of water am I actually drinking. And for me, the glass I drink from, it's 16 ounces. So my goal is 3 liters of plain water a day. So that's six of those 16 ounces. I feel like I just said a lot of numbers and I'm not a numbers girl, but basically, I'm tracking six of those 16-ounce glasses of water. By tracking it by hand, that helps me drink enough water. And I've noticed that since I've been drinking 3 liters of water a day, I have not had a headache. I have had a migraine, but that was for a completely different reason. But I have not had a single headache since I've started drinking more water and tracking 3 liters of water. And those 3 liters of plain drinking water, I do put lemon slices in my water, but those 3 liters of plain water with lemon slices is not including any other water like coconut water, electrolyte water, water from fruit, water from vegetables. It's not including any of that. It's 3 liters of plain water. So, you know, 3 liters of water plus more water-rich fruits and vegetables, coconut water, electrolyte water. I also recently started drinking chlorophyll water. All of that together is making me feel so much more hydrated. It's giving me more energy. And that's how I realized I was probably chronically dehydrated this whole time. Last week or the week before, I can't remember, but I saw someone on Threads who said that their doctor told them that they need to drink more water. And they were like, well, I'm already drinking a gallon of water, which is 128 ounces. They're already drinking a gallon of water at a minimum every day, usually more than that. And their doctor said, yeah, drink more. And apparently, like, there was a lot of conversation in the comments of this thread. Some people were like, well, water isn't some like magical end all be all. Another person was like, it doesn't sound like you need more water. You need electrolytes, which I actually agree with. And the person was like, do I need a second opinion? Because even they knew you're already drinking all this water and your doctor's telling you to drink more water. There is a such thing as drinking too much water. And plain water flushes out our electrolytes and some of the minerals. Plain water itself does not actually hydrate, which that's something I learned kind of recently. I don't know if you already knew that. Plain water itself doesn't hydrate. It like replenishes and it helps lubricate our joints and things like that. And it's good for our blood, but it doesn't actually hydrate. And so drinking too much water can flush out the electrolytes that we actually need. That's part of the reason why I do drink electrolyte water almost every day. People say that unless you sweat, you don't actually need it, but I've noticed that if I don't drink it, I definitely feel a difference. And maybe it's because it's summertime, maybe because it's hot outside. I don't know, but I drink electrolyte water every day. And so the point is, what I'm realizing is one, I was chronically dehydrated. Now I definitely feel a difference just drinking 3 liters of water. There was a time when I was influenced by social media to, try to drink a gallon of water a day. I don't know if a gallon of plain water a day is realistic for me. A gallon of water plus other liquids that are wa primarily water, like coconut water and electrolyte water, chlorophyll water, that's realistic because that's like what I'm already doing. But a gallon of plain water a day, it's probably not going to happen for me. But 3 liters of water for me, plus the other waters I mentioned, the other beverages I mentioned, that has me feeling more like myself. And like I said, I have not had a headache. And I used to get headaches often in the past. Some of those headaches were stress related, but recently, I'm talking like most of the first half of this year up until now, I would get headaches a couple times a week. And I probably bet nine times out of 10, it was probably because I wasn't drinking enough water. So all that to say is everybody's different, but definitely figure out how much water your actual body needs. And, there are apps you can get to remind you to drink water or, track it by hand at first to see how much water you need. Because now that I know that 3 liters is, 3 liters of plain water is a good minimum or a good base for me to start from. I might start using my water bottle again and have it remind me. We'll see. But tracking it to find out, how much water does my body actually need based on my own activity level, based on my diet and nutrition and all of that. It's definitely helped me and just helped me, just feel more energized and just feel more, I don't know, it's gonna sound corny, but feel more alive. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you can follow along on my journey. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.